The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the All Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. As you can see, as you'll be able to hear, it's just the three of us tonight. Are you all right? We're starting.
Yeah, it was just but that stuff I had last night.
Garlic.
His
first word tonight was garlic. But yes, I am your host, Chris, joined by Degger and Bestie this evening. Mark's had a very, 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 very late fitness test.
Yeah.
He texted me about 10 seconds ago telling me that he wasn't going to be here. So Mark isn't here. You'll be glad. No.
He'll be out,
He'll be quiet one tonight.
It might be a quiet one. Yeah. Before I want to get going and before we start, lads, I just want to say thanks to everybody that has became a member. That we've had a handful of members join this evening, and that'll be on the back of the members only video that we're doing straight after this one. So we are going to be doing a Christmas special, which goes live at 8:20, and that'll be for members only.
It wasn't for everyone, though, was it?
What? It wasn't. No, it wasn't. The membership was not for everybody because somebody wasn't happy that there was a membership.
Yeah.
Yeah. Already pay for YouTube. Why should I be paying for you 3-4 bastards as well? But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is.
And that's why he's not here tonight.
Shall we just jump straight into it, boys? And Decker, start the show again.
Oh, yes.
Another time you're going to be starting the show with the magic words.
Well, wouldn't you know?
Get in. What an important week it's been, Bestie. We sat here last week, and do you know what it is? I needed to put a bit of apology out, and Decker, you were in the same boat where we were heavily focusing on the league table and going, well, shit, we're dropping down the league. Bestie's going, it's too early to be looking at the league table.
It still is, man.
It's turned on its head again, hasn't it?
It's still too early to look at the league. It's brilliant. I want 8 at the minute. Well, whatever we are, I think 2 points behind Man City, a point behind them. Well, we're not far from Villa, who will play on Boxing Day. We'll go ahead of them and beat them on Wednesday. But it's still, I mean, it's really, really tight in the middle. Starting to stretch out a bit. Obviously, Bournemouth beat Man U yesterday, so they are now 4 behind with haven't played the same amount of games, and it will stretch out a little bit. But yeah, we're playing what we're doing at the minute. The last 3 games, we've done what we've struggled to do all season, and that's beat teams who kind of aren't going to come out with.
Mm-hmm.
Like Leicester last weekend before last, they had a 10-minute spell at the start of the game where they got about with it. Oh, it could be a bit. And then I say, like I said last week, there was one point where Dan Burn did Jamie Vardy for pace, and I thought, we're all right here.
Yeah.
And I thought Saturday was quite similar. Obviously, got the goal 20 seconds in, but it got awarded 25 minutes in because VAR took forever to sort it out. And then Ipswich had a bit of a spell where Smodics went through. Dubravka made a save, came off his line well, and I can't remember them having the ball after that. It was a really, really good performance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the league table, it's nice to be 8th. You know, I mean, we finished 7th last year, so we're there or thereabouts again this year. But it's still, I suppose, when you get towards halfway, that likelihood is you've played every team once, so you can kind of get a gauge of where you are.
Yeah.
But it's still early yet. Like, there's still a long way to go.
Of course
I keep on saying, I made the point a week or two ago, we were like 11th, 12th with about 4 games to go last season, maybe slightly earlier than that. But it's still, it's the only table that matters at the end of the day is after 38 games. Like, so.
Of course,
but it is nice to Christmas Day and all that. Like, they always do. Where are your team spending Christmas? Where is the Premier League? That's very pleasant.
It's been 7 days where we've got 3 wins under our belt. We've got Leicester, Brentford in the cup, which was another decent performance as well. And then obviously going away to Ipswich, and it was I would say Eddie Howe probably went in that week thinking that I'm going to have to probably take maximum points and get through to the next stage of the cup, and they've done it without even. Well, I'm going to say without trying, but there'll be no challenge from the other teams at all. We have literally steamrolled teams in the last week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think, to go back to the point when there was one episode, I think it was me and Mark, surprise, we're arguing. And it wasn't the position in the league. I had no interest at all in that, really. It were 2 wins in 11, or was it 2 wins in 12 or something at the time? And
something like that.
It was something along
really
those lines,
lacking to score goals, and it was just trying to see, can we turn that corner? And we all pointed at these 3 games. Well, these 3 games were big, but they're also an opportunity because of the opposition you're playing against, right? You're playing against two newly promoted sides and a team that hasn't won away from home. So you're looking at them 3 games going, if there's ever a chance to get back on the right track, this is it. Taking nothing away from that, though, they've absolutely blitzed them. Like on Saturday, my God, them could not live with us at all. The press was magnificent. I've never seen a team turn over the ball so often. Like it was every single time the Ipswich player got the ball. They beat one man. There was another 15. It felt like as if I had 20 players at times. It was magnificent, man. And it could have been 8, 9, 10. And it could have been, really could have been. But this week's been tremendous. And another league position, 1 point behind City, and that, which is great. But it's the performances for me which are key. The 11, I think it's 11 goals scored in 3 games and 1 conceded. You can't really ask for any more.
It's 11 and 3. Or if you go back to Liverpool and Brentford away, it's another 5 until 16 and 5. So more than 3 goals a game scored. Yeah. It's excellent. And the thing is, the next 3 games are kind of the other side of that. You got Villa, Man United, and Tottenham. I think Bromley might be in between.
Man United, I don't. Honestly, I think we'll butcher them.
I think we'll Tottenham will be here as well, because last season they beat were 4-1 down there. We beat them 4-0 up here, 5-0. Was it?
It's always a flip of the fixture, isn't it?
And you look at their recent, obviously 6-3 off Liverpool yesterday. Yeah. Beat Man U 4-3 last week. They beat Southampton 5-0, 5-1. They're conceding goals, but scoring goals as well. So it's another one that if we can manage them defensively, same as we've done at St James's last couple of this season, we're beaten, was it 1-0 this season? So it's a bit tighter. But if we can cope with them defensively, they're to be got at Tottenham.
They're such a weird side, because one week you'll watch them. Every game you see to watch them, it's a 4-3 or a 5-3. It's just mental, and they've got a lot of injuries. He said again, his press conference was quite funny actually, because they asked him the same question again. Yeah. Are you going to change your style? And I don't know if you've seen it, but he puts his head down. And he's like, oh my God. And he goes, right, I don't know how many times I'm going to answer this question. Because he's not going to. So you got to, you know what I mean? But that obviously playing in our hands. Man United got absolutely thrown off Bournemouth at home. No disrespect to Bournemouth having an incredible season.
Yeah, they're 3rd or 4th.
Fifth, I think. Fifth, Forest or 4th. Amazing. But again, with our tails, it's obviously Villa's the game I look at and you think, that's a really tough game, that one is, because Villa are a very good side. But if you can get a positive result there, you roll into Man United. Honestly, no problems at all. I say no problems at all. I don't mean we're going to win and just no problems at all. But I don't fear Man United, because I feel we at the moment we are playing in such good form. The energy's back, the intensity's back. We're scoring goals. They're gettable. We can cause them.
I think one of the crucial things, as you mentioned earlier, Decker, as well, you mentioned how often Ipswich were turning the ball over, but I think that was down to how well our midfield were doing as well. Bruno and Tonali, they were so not aggressive in the challenges, but they were literally winning almost every single duel that they were going up for, the pair of them. And we're going to have to speak about them, because it looks like it's finally clicked with those two. Obviously, we spoke a little bit last week how they've kind of shifted positions, where Tonali's dropped into that number 6 role and Bruno's in the number 8, which he didn't want to really do, but that's where he's found himself, and that's where he plays better football, I believe. Bruno higher up the field. Tonali, once again, just how calm he is. And I noticed a couple of times, and I think I mentioned this last week, whenever we lose a ball, Tonali just seems to be there ready to win it back. He's at one point, he's at left back, and I was like, how is he there? And he's just picking the ball up and moving it and getting up the field. And I just honestly, as a midfielder right now, I absolutely adore Tonali.
Yeah. Oh, he's unreal. And this is
so much confidence in him, isn't it?
And this is the position where I thought he should have played. I remember me and Mark argued about this, and he was like, nah, he doesn't play defensive midfield. He's not just playing defensive midfield. He's also starting, he's starting moves off. He's also moving a bit further up the field. But there's a good balance that where Tonali is going. I'm seeing Bruno cover a little bit here and there.
Yeah. Joe
Linton would probably cover even more if he was playing. But I feel like Bruno's got a new lease of life, being able to play a bit further forward. And I think, especially on Saturday, I know Bruno seems to play quicker, whereas my criticism of him when he was playing as the 6 or the defensive midfield he hangs on to the ball too long.
Gets caught out quite a bit, doesn't
he gets caught out. And I don't know if he feels he's got more time because of where he is on the pitch. But certainly, I mean, you see that ball he played out wide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
God, what a pass that was.
I have watched that pass.
Wasn't it?
God knows how many times. He just absolutely leathers it with the outside of his boot.
And then I'm really, really going ahead and stuff here. But when he hits the post with the header, the entire move is just wonderful. But Bruno, he's actually really in his own box almost, and he runs the full length of the field to get on the end of it. If Bruno's playing the 6, I don't think he even has the thought of going that far up the pitch. So it's all clicking. And Tonali, the energy that he has is immense, and he's an absolute gladiator on that midfield. Like, so
fit anything. See how really strong he is now. He's a big lad. You know, he's filled out quite a bit since he's been there. But yeah, he's for all he's got a hat trick on Saturday. I thought Tonali was head and shoulders above everyone else on the pitch. He was brilliant. Yeah,
I actually thought Jacob Murphy was. I thought Murphy was outstanding. Like,
so
outstanding. He wearing a mask. Is that
hey, I don't. You know, I don't.
He was excellent there. He was really good.
Honestly, he was brilliant.
It's something that we're going to have to talk about Jacob Murphy, because we can't deny we'll be very critical of Murphy.
You two have been very.
I think we all have. Me and Decker. Yeah, but I think it came from a place where we are and how he was performance at the time, where it's warranted. Like you've got to call these sort of performances out. But what a handful of games he's had. Like, he's getting umpteen assists. He's back heeling assist now, which was one of the best assists I've ever seen.
Unbelievable.
He's scoring absolute screamers from obviously the game against Leicester. Then he scored that one, smashes off the bomb. All know that goals are 10 times better when they hit the ball first.
I tell you what, that's better than Pancrat, that.
Yeah.
Very similar goal, but I think that's Jacob Murphy wins it.
It's just that assist, though.
Yeah,
like he's got the confidence and the audacity. Yes, we're very comfortable in the game, and he's probably just thinking, whatever. I'm just going to try all sorts. Yeah, it's not the fact he just back heels it; it's lifted up as well.
He digs it into the ground, so it lifts. It's class. He was getting booed early on as well. Obviously, he kind of came through the ranks at Norwich, did Murphy? So against Ipswich, they're going to get the. They obviously remember that in front of. Getting an assist after 20 seconds. His first game down there, I suspect, for a little while, for us certainly. I think he kind of fed off that a bit, like, and then he played he was brilliant. He was great.
Did he play the pass to Isak where I felt Isak should have done better, slightly better? He almost like healed it to the goalkeeper. It looked like he was going to open his body up and bend it in, but he just ended off.
Is that the one-on-one that he had? I think
was that Midfield that played that pass? I thought it was
Bruno.
Was it Bruno?
I might be wrong.
We saw everything that Murphy delivers. We got an assist. We got a goal. We had a left-footed shot which just goes around the outside of the post. He hit the woodwork at one point.
Yeah,
he does that every single game. The last couple of games.
He's game. Like, I mean, he loves to have a shot with either foot. He's comfortable having a dig, and I must say, and I have said this. This is the one thing I've always said about him. He does have wonderful delivery off his right foot. He can put a good ball in, and when he hits it, it stays hit.
Remember the shot he had at Wembley for like 40 yards?
Oh, the one that was like, was it just inches away from him?
De Gea was kind of like a little bit. I think I was in goal.
He's going to let it go, wasn't he?
Kind of wrong footed. I remember where I was right in the corner, in the middle tier, thinking like, it's pretty miles like that. Like, and then watching the replay or the highlights after, thinking actually it was really close. He can strike a ball, Jacob Murphy. He really can hit a ball. Like,
and do you know what it is? It's nice that the comment that Eddie House came afterwards and basically saying that he's always been there and he's always wanted to be part of the team. He's probably one of the most what's a word I'm looking for? What did he said? He's basically very unselfish in these sort of things. He'd rather get an assist than a goal, which it just kind of shows his character.
I'll fair play to him. Honestly, fair play. I think. No, I'm not going to be negative at all.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to be negative at all.
No. But I think
nearly was. I nearly was, but I held back.
No, I think in these sort of moments, and yes, people will argue the opposition that we've had, but like we were saying last week as well, it's still the teams are the only teams in front of you. You can't change that, and it's not just 1-0 wins. We are literally battering teams,
and he's been a massive part in that. You know, in battering these teams. And I think I said this about Tonali. That's why I'll still go back. I know you didn't play Brentford away. Was like you need minutes, you need time in the team, right, to develop and get your confidence up and get a run of games of playing. And that is one thing you could say Murphy's been getting, right. He's been getting that guaranteed start, because when it was 1 minute going to be Barnes or is it going to be Gordon over there and blah 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 blah, that can't do you any good because you don't know if you're playing or not, right. But when all of a sudden you're starting to nail that position down and you're starting to play more. good things can happen, right? And without any doubt, you have to give it to Murphy that he's been given the opportunity, and certainly over the last 3-4 games, I mean, it's been amazing.
We've spoken about the midfield duo and the likes of Bruno and Tonali Bestie. You've got to look at that front three as well. So we've had a front three is pretty solid there at the moment. You've got Murphy on the right, Gordon on the left-hand side, and Isak. And yes, Gordon isn't getting on the score sheet, but obviously he's still creating lots and involved throughout.
He is. He's causing all the trouble. He should have done. He had that head of that kind of. I think Murphy put the ball up for that one as well, actually when Gordon. I think a defender just nudges him and it kind of takes him off balance a little bit, but it hits the turf and just goes over the bar. But either playing like Isak, all of a sudden scored in four consecutive games where he was struggling and he scored 20 odd goals this calendar year, and he's the best in. He's amazing. He scored as many goals as Shola, but he's played 135 games less or something like that.
He's just unreal.
I'm sure I was never exactly prolific, like as I say, but he's the pair of them.
You see Andy Cole stats on there? He's the best.
He was. I remember the time that there'll be that many who left that can. Like,
no, you're right.
He was phenomenal, Andy Cole. Like, but yeah, Gordon, he's not quite getting the goals that he was last season. He's getting a few chances. Isak as well. You could argue, that's another one where he's been 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. That's the third or fourth time we've seen that. Where
I remember the interview which he did. I want to say it was TNT. I'm sure it's TNT.
Gordon is this or Isak?
No, Isak. He did the interview and they were asking him about. He looks so calm and nice, cool when he's 1-on-1. Like, what's going through your mind? He's basically saying that like you don't have enough time. Blah blah blah.
It was Tottenham.
Ever since then, he can't score a 1-on-1.
It was that Tottenham game where he got put over. He scored against them when he did. Who's a really fast centre half? Van der Ven.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
I just think. Overall in his performances, like, he's just such an amazing footballer. On Saturday, man, he was coming deep from the centre halves, coming towards, you'd almost say, a 10 role, being able to turn and run at people. Sometimes he can't get the ball off him. Like, he's just so elusive. He's so good with his feet. Then there was other times where the defender's probably thinking, "Oh, he's going to drop deep here because that's what he's been doing." Then he'd spin in behind and he'd run in behind. He's an absolute nightmare. Like, he's so good, man.
I've seen the day.
So good.
Somebody saying that PSG wanted for 100 million. That's you get him on loan
for
6 months for that.
That was 100 million euro.
80 million, 75 million quid. That's not good.
He is without doubt for me good enough to play at the absolute top level.
I hope he does.
I mean, literally the best. Like, play for the best team. He should be winning. He is just unreal. Him, like,
I hope he does it for us.
Oh, of course, absolutely. And that's why I think we'll go. And I don't want to go down this route again because it gets boring. But if you've got to sell one of them, he's the last person.
Yeah, he's the last. Of course, hardest to replace, isn't it?
100%.
I've got a nice little stat for you as well.
Go on, then.
With these, like, you might have seen this on social media. Yeah, Statman Wallace. Once again, if we read stats out on you, take them with a pinch of salt because we don't fact check.
Not verified.
We just see them. We'll see them.
This one from Wikipedia.
This one was just on Twitter. So this is the comparison which we'll always get between Isak and Thierry Henry. So they were both the age of 22 when they joined the Premier League.
Yes.
In the first 67 games in the Premier League, Thierry scored 36 goals. Alexander Isak has scored 41.
Oh, wow.
Those are some stats, like.
If they're right, I mean.
If they're right.
But he's got 20 odd. They'll not be far off, because I say he scored something like 23, 24 this year, hasn't he? 2024. And it's his second full year here. I know he's had injuries and stuff like that, but
last season he was up competing with Haaland as well for top goal scorer.
He was second or third behind him and Cole Palmer, which he is again.
Yeah.
Obviously, Salah's had a pretty good run recently, so he's up there. So, Decker's got stats.
I mean, it's the same one that Darryl put in, but I mean, Callum Wilson's obviously got 99 games and 47 goals in that. That is a goal every other game, isn't it?
He's going every ally.
That's considering we were absolutely dog shite for a long period of them 99 games that Wilson was here. Obviously, Isak's played 67 games and scored 41, but I have to mention it because we're touched on it. Andy Coleman, 58 games, 43 goals.
That's incredible.
It's he was the best.
But
I loved him.
I was reading a thing today about Marcus Rashford, and I'm not saying for a moment I think we should sign him. However, he's fallen right out of favour at Man United. It looks like he's going to move. He's getting a goal every 3 games, which is for someone who plays predominantly in the wing. It's not that bad. That he's had 2 really good seasons, all that. But that's a good return these days. A goal every 3, I think, and that's all right. That Isak's miles ahead of that. Obviously, Callum Wilson's about 1 and 2. Andy Cole was he'd only played 15 more games and he scored goals. Going back, we've been so spoiled over the Shearer, Ferdinand.
Ferdinand is incredible as well. You know?
He's got a really good return.
Ferdinand is 68 and 41.
But I suppose the point is that Isak, I don't think they'll be looking to sell him. If a bid came in that they couldn't refuse, he's so hard to replace. There's not really at the moment a striker like him. Haaland's obviously a goal machine, but he's doesn't come wide. He's like a.
He's just a threat.
He's in the box, isn't he?
I seen a stat about him.
He's very much a poacher, isn't he?
I'm not able to find it now, but a stat about, I don't know, the last 5 games or something he's played, right? He's never had a completed dribble, a shot, a goal. I mean, it was zeros for everything. And that's what I mean by Isak. I mentioned this last week, saying that how much of a better player he is than Haaland as an overall footballer. God, it's night and day, man. There is nobody. I don't think there's anyone like him. And
even when Satya complaining about performances, he was still grabbing a goal. In those performances.
He will always.
Well, he had a bit of a harder night against Brentford last Wednesday. He didn't really get what he was wanting out of the game, but still beat teams straight out without a striker. Because that's not to say that he wasn't playing well. It just wasn't going his way, but he's still in the middle of everything.
I've still been screaming for him to come off, can I add as well? Because it happened on Saturday. I don't know if we were 3 up, I think, at the time, maybe even 4. And I was like, get him off the field. Yeah. As soon as he scored his hat-trick, number up. That was my opinion.
Was Asula on the bench? Because he didn't get any game time, did he? At all?
I don't think he came on at all, no.
He was on, wasn't he?
I think he was on the bench.
He must have been. He got 0 game time at all, which I was really shocked at.
When you're 4-0 up, it's absolutely pissing down. Like, anything could happen in terms of a rash challenge or a slip or something.
Joe Willock.
Get off.
Stands on someone's ankle and knocks his cell again.
But then you've got to look at the way Ipswich played the game as well, because there's a couple of challenges, very late challenges, where they were just tripping Bruno and Tonali over, and the lads were just getting on with it, going, well, if you're just going to smash like that, we'll just show you that we're better players.
Yeah, I think them were struggling so much that it was the only way they could almost try and make a point and slow it down. I'll go back.
The game plan was out the window in the first 30 seconds.
It was. I mean, it was hilarious that the fans, and I've got no problem with Ipswich All, actually, I've got a lot of time for them, but it was funny that the fans obviously were cheering because they thought it was offside, and there was a 25-minute wait before the goal got given, and you couldn't wish for a better start. And also to add, that finish by Isak there was just incredible, man. Like, what a finish.
Did they show the final? Do you know how they always have that final still frame of how they've came to a decision of offside or onside?
I don't think it did, no.
I can't remember seeing that to the point where maybe they thought it's too close to tell. Yeah, we're just going to have to award it.
I never seen lines, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
So I seen almost what I would class as a final like this is it. And I thought Murphy looked off, if I'm being really honest. But I was expecting.
Is that the one where it was the angle from?
The angle wasn't great.
The
angle wasn't great. And I thought that was the one they were going to use and then put lines on. But I never seen that. And then it went almost, they were judging handball, I think, wasn't it? Was it Isak handball? That was the second thing they were saying. Has Isak handballed it? I'm like, I didn't think so.
I think well, Murphy, because
was it Murphy?
I think we're looking for Murphy handball, but then if it's an accidental handball, then it's only the goal scorer that matters.
Goal scorer, yeah.
Right? Unless it's changed again. But it was, it took a long time. I looking at that replay, if that's the one they used, I couldn't tell. But it's weird because they did disallow it to start with, so normally they would stick with the on-field decision.
Because the lines person was very quick at putting the flag up. They normally don't put the flag up until the ball's in the back of the net. They normally let the play go on. But as soon as away, flag straight up.
It was old school, that wasn't it?
Was it early up? Quite early, I'm sure it was, yeah.
Because it should not go up, should it really?
I mean, it should. But
yes, it should.
By the rules at the moment, yeah.
But to go back, what I was meaning is God, as soon as Ipswich tried to put the foot on the ball and even just string a couple of passes together, the chasing and the energy and the intensity, and this is what, bear in mind, this is what I was complaining about West Ham at home and etc. That I wasn't seeing that, and especially I think a lot of fans were in agreement that it was more so away from home, especially where we weren't seeing that. We were seeing a different team, whereas this particular performance was absolutely bang on. The attitude of the players was incredible. Really was. It was brilliant.
It's great for Dubravka as well.
We're
going to have to speak about Dubravka. That's his 3rd game now?
Yeah, I think it is. He played
Unfortunately, he got that goal in the last couple of minutes of the Brentford game, which was nothing to do with him. He couldn't have done anything about that.
Just might be offside as well as it goes.
Possibly, yeah.
But he made the save he made from Smorix at 1-0, I think that was really similar to the one he made from Isak against Brentford, where he's gone through and Dubravka, he's made the save, 15, 16 yards off his line, kind of made himself big and hit him in the chest. The first one was his chest. I forget the Ipswich one, how he saved it, but it's in a game where he hasn't had a massive amount to do. But what he has done, I think it's almost like he's been looking at Pope and thinking I need to be off my line a bit quicker here because I
Going
can't,
well, yeah.
I can't think of anything in the performances that he's put in. He's been quiet, let's be fair.
Very quiet.
But I can't think of anything he's done that's made us think like, oh, you can see a difference here. How you could, when Pope was out last season for however long it was, and we played Tottenham at their place, and he was on his line a bit too much. His decision making wasn't great. That hasn't been the case this time. But again, kind of qualify by saying it's been an awful lot quieter. From what he's done really well. I like him. I still like the practice.
That's my only caveat of it is the opposition you're against aren't very good. Like, to be fair, right? So when we play Villa on Boxing
You're not getting
Day,
pep out of shots, yeah.
He'd probably be tested more. As a team, will be tested more, but certainly him.
I mean, Villa haven't been wonderful this season. They've done all right. They're better than we are at the moment.
I was listening to TalkSport. I'm going to go. I think it was 8 games into the season. I think maybe it was, and Lee Hendry was on there. My God, had his knob out on TalkSport, actually out on the table, and he was just banging on about how good Villa are and they've embraced the Champions League and they're flying and then this. 8 games in, they'd only played 2 Champions League games to that point. And I was like, come back to us when you're getting halfway through it. And then I think now they've only, again, I'm probably going to tell the stats wrong here, but it was the run that they had been on was horrendous. And I appreciate the beat City, but everyone is.
Yeah.
But like, it'll still be a tough game. I mean, that Rodgers, what a player he is, by the way. It's going to be an interesting game, that on a Boxing Day. But
yeah, Rodgers, Duran.
He's class him.
Yeah.
Class player, him. Love him.
Rodgers was a borrow last season. It cost like $1 million.
City sold him there.
Yeah.
He really looked a great player.
The striker, Watkins is obviously a class actor as well. Like it's a hard
and he
game.
didn't even play against Man City.
Great option. He's a bench option now, Watkins.
That Duran is just so powerful. Like he works really hard coming back. So we're going to have a work cut out, but it'll be a great game. Now, we've Howe's had his number quite a lot often. We'll beat them, obviously. We hammered them with Tonali scored, didn't he, at home, first game of the season?
Yeah.
That's right.
And I suppose your tails are up and all the rest of it, but I remember we played them away, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And Villa hadn't lost at home for about, it felt like 10 years or something. Everyone was saying how good they were, and I'm sure we smashed them 3-1. 3-1.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic tactically that game. So Howe's got a good record against Emery, I think. So, yeah, fair enough. We'll bring it on. Like.
Shall we go through some questions?
Best part of the night, huh?
Send some questions in, everybody. We do have we do have a couple ready. But if anybody wants any more questions read out, just send them in as quick as possible. So as always, we're going to go to Josh first of all. He says first of all,
has he given money this week again?
He has, yeah.
So how many? Hang on a second. So he must have
paid for the studio. We're going to have to do you know, on a football stand, like how you have the name of the stand. We're just going to get Josh's name, like
only after he's died, though, isn't it? Barry,
stop the studio.
Yeah. Only if you did. Sorry, Josh.
That's a lot. If you had over the weeks, right?
Yeah, he's paying for the studio. Yeah. So Josh says, great win on Saturday. I was fully expecting Dr. Newcastle to show up. I'm also not shy about my hatred for Murphy. I think he's our Ali Dia. However, even I have to admit he played well and scored a great goal. And an amazing assist. Josh, don't forget that.
The problem that you've got, right, with Murphy, right, it's a little bit like Longstaff in a way, right, where, and how long's it been? Same as my mate, right? So when they're playing well, right, I'm quite an honest guy, right? I've always said this. I just look at what I see, and if something's shite, I'll just tell you, right? And that's why Murphy gets a lot of grief. Well, Christ almighty, sometimes he looks like a fan's on the pitch, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's that bad. But the problem is, even when they play well, right? Yeah, it'll go quiet for a few weeks. But Villa on Boxing Day, it's tougher opposition, right? He may have a poor game, and I'm telling you now, people will be straight on him, straight on him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the certain players where they might play well 3 and 4 games, they'll have one bad one, poof, and all that good work and the best back heel of the season is forgotten about.
Yeah,
and that's where it's a bit harsh, I think, sometimes.
Well, that's just fickle football fans, just like us, isn't it?
Yeah, but you'd have Bruno losing the ball every 5 minutes and falling on his horse diving, and no one says no. And that's unfair. That's not right, in my opinion. It's not right.
Josh follows a question up with another one. He says, what are your thoughts on the goalkeeper situation? Are you surprised Dubravka is still number 2 ahead of Vlachodimos? He also goes on to say he should have been sold as soon as he spat his dummy out and got the Man United move.
I've never subscribed to that. Like, I like Josh and I appreciate that he's paid for the studio, but he's totally wrong about that. Like, the Dubravka thing, when he went, I don't know what people want. Like, it's like anyone changing jobs.
He wanted first team football.
Yeah, he was late, probably early 30s at that point. We just signed Nick Pope, so he's I want to play football. And by going to Man United, he's probably thought, because they were in the Europa League, he's probably thinking, well, I'll be a European goalkeeper. Yeah. And I'll get, and he played a few games there, it didn't work out for him. But I've got no problem with players wanting to move. As long as they're Like Kabay went on strike, I could do without that. But like, nah, there's someone going to if we signed that Georgian keeper that we mentioned last week. We're not good. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Hypothetically, if we signed him,
I memorized his name and I can't remember what it is now.
I was going to say Kishnishvili, but he was a fullback we got from Blackburn that time.
Mohamedishvili.
Yeah, something along those lines. So if he signed, Nick Pope's going to be going, oh, it's great. He's going to be going, oh, by the way, can I play football, first team football? No, I signed him to be first. Right, in that case, I'm looking to play elsewhere. I've got no problem with that. Any player, it's a you only play one goalkeeper at a time. So I don't think Vlak could deem us at any time as kind of given any indication that he's there to be second choice goalkeeper. I'm always a little bit reluctant to call goalkeeper second choice goalkeeper number 2.
I'm going to twist the question around a little bit though, because the recent rumours and the rumours are just ongoing away about Dubravka
going to Saudi.
Going to Saudi, that is a rumour now. So a January trip to Saudi, off he goes. Where does that leave with Derek? Because Pope's out. We don't know how long Pope's out for.
Well, Eddie Howe got asked that question and he went, well, he's my number one goalkeeper at the moment, so I'd rather him not go anywhere. So I don't know.
I'd rather he not win anywhere.
I think we'll get Trafford in. I still believe he loves Trafford.
Yeah. I think we probably will as well. Yeah.
I think it'll
We've
be
mentioned
Trafford.
this a few times.
And we were close to getting him before, but we ended off doing the most mental deal of all time for Anderson to get this other bloke. So, just a mess, that was awful.
But it was like a mutually beneficial PSR thing, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And I get why we've done it. I'm not criticising the club to the degree for that because it had to be done. But let's be fair, it's a bit shite, right?
It's worked out quite well for Forest, hasn't it?
Forest has, I think if you sell Dubravka, you have to dip into the market, right? And I would say it would probably be Trafford.
The player that we mentioned before, Mohamedishvili, signed for Liverpool, didn't he? Then got loaned.
That's what I was
back across.
I'm sure I said that last week, but people,
I'm sure that's what happened. There's a comment there saying that's what happened, and I remember reading that. Unless it just
I'm sure
didn't go through in the end.
What happened as well?
Yeah,
I think with Dubravka, what I'll say though as well is when he's come back though, there's been no sort of murmurs of his attitude being a problem, like
nothing at all.
And I think
back.
That's fantastic. You know what I mean? Like it's. If he fair enough, he wanted to go and play first team football. How many players in life want to do that, right? Like it's obvious, really. But when he's come back and it hasn't worked out with Man United, he certainly hasn't seemed to have spat his dummy out, and he's waited patiently and got an opportunity, which he's getting again. So no problems at all with that. Like, no.
Yeah, I think I'll probably go for Trafford as well. The Vlachodimos thing. Would you swap him for Matt Sells?
I still can't sleep at night. I can't sleep at night since for him, like
because he's doing all right for us.
He's doing very well.
Yeah,
I can't believe it. Like because when I seen them sitting fourth and he's in goal, I'm like, how's that? He was ultimate Chris Packerhands him.
He was the worst.
He was shocking.
Well, no, Anik was worst.
Anik was worse. Yeah.
I'm sure there was someone else that was poor. I'm not. Because Caldwell was a great stopper, but the rest of his game was.
You were Caldwell's biggest fan, man.
No, he was not.
But Howe likes to have 4 goalkeepers, doesn't he? That's his thing. Is that he doesn't like. But there again, having said that, if you got
would Ruddy come in? If Dubravka went and Pope was injured,
I think Ruddy's probably next.
I think so as well. Yeah.
Mark Gillespie's sweating.
Not Vlak.
Nah, I didn't. I don't.
I reckon Vlak's next up. Like
ahead of Ruddy.
In fact, Vlak was on the bench, wasn't he?
He has come out. He played a couple of games. I think he played against.
He played in the cup. Did he come on the half-time in the cup, didn't he? I mean, how though?
But the announcers
said playing against us. I mean, how
Yeah.
Oh, he's done. Sorry.
No, yeah, that's it. I think that's it. That's it. Josh, yeah, nice man, I'm sure.
How long's Pope out for again? Realistically,
I think he said a month.
Oh,
so it's already a fortnight in, give or take.
Yeah.
Well, I still say for all the injury was cruel. If it was going to come at a time, it wasn't a bad time for it to come because you're playing it as I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the 3 teams we've played, I ain't got much like, you know what I mean. So I think we're lucky there, but I think if Dubravka goes, then you bring someone, and I just feel it would be Trafford.
Well, I haven't brought any goalkeepers through for long. Like Krull and Fraser Forster were the last 2. And Forster's had a week, hasn't he? So
God bless him, right. Jesus. That was it. What game was it?
He
was just
Anik, and you had Woodman as well, didn't you? Woodman not come through.
He was he's still at Preston, he Woodman. I thought he really struggled when he
did he go one of the Welsh teams at one point.
I made that Swansea for a spell. Yeah.
I think he done really well when he's at Swansea.
He might have got player of the season, something like that, or like a champion. I thought I saw that.
Those lights flicker in there.
Santa, he's a day early.
Josh, man, haven't even top the lettering of Josh.
Santa mustn't have sleep yet. No, but he does. How likes to have 4 goalkeepers for training. So if you've got Pope out and Dubravka away, that would leave you with Gillespie, Ruddy, and Flack.
Gillespie, man.
Best job in the world, man.
Best job in the world.
Incredible, that, like.
Yeah, in the world.
I'll do that for you.
Santa
no
works
bother.
more than Gillespie, doesn't he?
Any of you are watching, mate, I'll do that for you. No bother.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I seen he got married, didn't he, recently as well?
Did
I was just like, what on earth?
Good man, fair play. Like, I've got no problem with Gillespie. Just out there, he's got an incredible job.
No, he's just living the dream.
Some number that.
Aye, living the dream. What number is he?
He hasn't even got one.
402.
He hasn't even got one.
I don't think he has got one, you know.
He puts the cones out and sings a bit karaoke.
What I did want to mention, I want to go. It's not a question, but we've got to mention this Miley coming on as well.
Oh yes,
Yeah, it looks huge.
Yeah,
Big
Yeah.
boy. isn't he?
big boy.
Aye. Well, he had been putting a bit of timber on. He looked very tall against some of the players, like, but our class. Obviously, he's going to be an amazing one for the future.
He looked good. Became one as well.
Yeah, he did. Good player, isn't he? Good player.
He looks like a really good player.
Yeah, he does. Really good.
He's still only 14 as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing well.
Next question is from El Grande Salmon that says, how old do you think Lewis Hall will be when it's acknowledged that he's better than peak Maldini? He's a great player, you know, isn't he?
Unreal.
Class again.
Absolutely unreal. Classic.
Really good again, my guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's so just on and off the ball, isn't it? Like he's so good on it though. He's so safe on the ball. Listen, he might give it away the odd time, but I absolutely love it when he has the ball and you know him and that link up with Gordon is something else. That's such an incredible thing we've got going.
Real thing. That, yeah, it's a good partnership they've got going there. And because he's been a centre midfielder as well, I think that's helped him. Helped him be good on the ball. But he's confident taking the ball forward. You know, where a lot of fullbacks we've seen in the past. I want to mention Paul Dummett here, Chris, because Dummett wasn't very confident carrying the ball. I mean,
he wouldn't go past the halfway line.
That was what my mate had to put up with, you know. My mate had him passing him the ball and going, "That's me doing. That's it." To kind of go any further, you know.
But Hall is kind of good on the ball. He does work very well. Him and Gordon reminds us a lot. In the second lazy comparison, I suppose. But I've mentioned it. Enrique and Gutierrez, the way they were. I think they're probably both better. I think they are both better. I love Gutierrez and Enrique.
Enrique is more of like he was a powerhouse.
He was huge. Remember that goal he scored against Forest in the
shirt
rain?
off.
He was class.
He was a powerhouse, like just full of muscle. Him like.
And then he went in goal, and the Pepe Reina's top was massive on him.
Yeah, they decided that he was going to support
Liverpool
Liverpool after that moment.
What a day that was.
It's that photo. It's a photo where all you can see is the gloves getting passed over, and it's blurred in the background. Ben off out with the biggest grin on his face. Like the
Andy Carroll this one didn't he on purpose, didn't he?
Like early on in the game,
he dove.
Yeah, he took a dive.
He dove over Kroll. Was Kroll goal for?
He would have been one.
Yeah, would have been Kroll.
Yeah, he definitely dove.
He did.
Like towards the edge of the left-hand side of the box, I think it was.
Yeah, towards like the east, the Milburn.
Yeah,
not East Stand and Lee's corner.
Yeah.
That was. It reminded us loads of. I was just reading about this. They got happy birthday, Michael Chopper, by the way. I was reading on NUFC.com about when he played for Sunderland, we drew 1-1, and he missed that chance right at the end. It reminded us loads of that, where he's like, I don't really fancy this.
Yeah. He obviously missed that as well. Like,
yeah,
no denying that.
Yeah, we had a few quid in the draw.
Next question is from.
Happy birthday, Michael.
I don't even know how to say this word. Name, so sorry, I'm not going to attempt it. He says, do you think we need to see more goals out of Gordon soon? He's still playing well, but he's lacking that clinical touch in the final third that he had last season. We touched on it a little bit earlier on, didn't we? But
I've touched on it every week. Every week I've said I don't think he's been particularly very good in that regard. I think his work rate's great. His link-up play with Hall's been great. So his performances have been fine, but in front of goal, he's been very poor. Been very poor.
I think that was a criticism that Everton fans had of him as well before he signed. And he was brilliant last season. He was scoring. He kind of. I remember the goal he scored against Man United at home, where the ball went out the right hand side, and he kind of instinctively knew where to be. And in the interview afterwards, he was saying, that's something I've really kind of been working on, and it's a.
Wingers are like they're frustrating, aren't they? Wingers,
yeah.
Not everyone's Salah. You know, it is difficult.
Well, it's not a huge amount. If he could finish, he's not as good as Mo Salah, obviously, but you look at his numbers last season, and I think what he's done this season as well, he's been excellent again for the most part. Had the slow start because he didn't really have a pre-season. Rumours that he was kind of wanting to go to Liverpool and all that. But I think that's all that's missing. Really,
I agree. No, that's what I mean. His performances are fine. It's just
he's still creating the chances as well, isn't he?
There's so many times there was a few on Saturday. I'm like, it's just really poor. He gets my mate was the same. I think the problem is only when
that's a hat trick tonight, Decker.
Sorry, but when he comes inside, oh god. When he beats a player and gets inside, around,
it's not really much better.
When he gets past the player.
When he gets past the player, yeah. but comes inside. You think, and when you're watching it, you're like, oh well, work the keeper here, and sometimes the shots it was 1 miles wide, and just frustrating sometimes. But again, what I'll say is he's getting in the right areas, and I'll always say if you get in the right areas, then you're doing something right. So I think what also though is where it doesn't matter. It always matters if he's not scoring, but because we're winning so convincingly, it's all right. But if it was 0-0, for example, on Saturday, you'd point more and go, Gordon, you've got to do more. I get that, but when you've won 4-0, it's okay.
Yeah. I think when we drew with Goodison,
good point.
The penalty was, I was saying rather than miss, but he had a couple of chances that didn't quite go his way. Oh, by the way, similar to the Goodison game as well, finally got a win in away our third kit this season.
That's right.
Like the first time we've ever won in that white type of kit.
And it was the first time we scored a hat-trick since 2019, was it?
I would say, apparently, I forget which game. That would have been a Premier League, but I forget which game it was.
Yeah.
I can't remember us scoring a hat-trick since they were getting in the Championship.
Wijnaldum got one, didn't he, against Norwich?
Before
but that was the
that,
season we got relegated, wasn't it?
Yeah,
would have been,
did Gale get a hat-trick against Norwich in the Championship?
I did.
Yes,
4-3.
What a game that was.
Oh, that was amazing. That
3-2 down.
My phone was burning because I had my mates from Norwich giving us a hard time then. But
last 4 minutes of the game was absolutely mental.
Yeah.
Was that a nighttime game? It was, wasn't
it?
it?
Yeah, it was. Well, I'm sure we'll get beat 3-1 with something like 89 minutes.
If I remember right, Meat Row came on later on in the game and just absolutely ran everybody.
Well, we started going direct, didn't we?
Yeah. When Gale got the winner, Meat Row just like drags him down by the neck.
Yeah.
I think Gale's announced he's retiring as well.
Actually?
Yeah. He's at Hibs at the minute. And he says it's not that his body's kind of breaking down now. I mean, he's 34, 35-year-old. But he says that when he's retired, he doesn't want to be one of these ones who just like kind of move and play with their kids and all that. Like, so
he's feeling his body starting to give it one of a bit.
Yeah, I say a bit of a shame. But he's had a I love Dwight Gale. He's like a lot of people said that Daryl Murphy in the Championship was like our David Kelly. I think Dwight Gale was. Gale was amazing that season. And he had a few years in the Premier League as well. And kind of the step up was a bit much afterwards, but he was brilliant in the Championship.
Yeah, he was. Scott says it was also the game where Mitro picked Rafa up after the game.
I love that picture.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I see Mitro's been named the Guardian, do that top 100 players in the year,
right,
in the world every year, and Mitro's around the same position as Isak. Isak's 90th, and Mitro's from like 94th, 95th, which I think is absolutely.
So they taking the Saudi cash as well.
Bizarre. Because Mitro's
in Saudi, isn't he? He isn't.
Yeah.
He's desperately following when them come in. Desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we call it a night? Because we've got another show to do.
No more questions, like not one more.
No more questions.
Got any mates?
No more questions. To be fair, I think we've covered everything. To be fair, so there's no more questions. So we're gonna say goodbye, everybody that is watching. Like I said, we will be going live in 5 minutes for our Christmas special that is available for members only. So, like I said at the start of this, it is just $2.99 a month to become a member. And yeah, we'll see you over that side. If we don't see you, have a great Christmas.
Have a wonderful Christmas. Yes, please do.
Have a good one. Have a good one.
If you don't like
Enjoy
Christmas,
it with your families.
It's nearly finished. Oh, Mitrovic 98th.
My kids are ill.
World, apparently.
98th.
Isak 90th.
Cheers, everybody. What are you doing? Ta-ra.